I love iced tea. Darjeeling. My name's Ben Davies. I'm a film student and I work in the camera department. I think the interesting thing is looking at different ways people do things. Everyone can light a living room or film a living room one certain way, but everyone's been taught a different way of doing it. So to learn all these different ways, you can maybe not use the style of your work, but it's the method more than the style of how that influences, I think. So I bought this thing, the back of my lens, a 3D printed element that gives it a bokeh filter, which gives it that out of focus anamorphic look. And on it, it's got a fishing wire that's coloured blue. So if I do it on your camera, you get lens flare thing going on. On this one, when I bring this in, we get that line going across. In Andrew Laslow's book, he talks about how you can have good photography and bad photography, and you're taught that this is bad photography, you know, if it's underexposed, if it's shaky, if it's crappy or whatever. And you have good photography that's perfectly done, it's Hollywood, it's beautiful. But sometimes bad photography is even better than good photography if it works for your story. I think that's the main thing. Because like in Chungking Express, that film, they've got all these sequences of blurry rubbish and you can't see what's going on. From a technical point, that's a bad image. That's a really bad image. But in the story, it works really, really well. If you look at like the Stars Tunnel film, there's a few moments where there's a focus on movement, okay? There's right at the start, when you're moving into Senya, and we're close, we start off quite a mid-shot, and we go right into like an extreme close-up of her eyes. And she, at that point, is in her head and like thinking of memories and predicting the future and stuff. So like, by doing that camera movement of going in, we're kind of moving in with her and we're kind of focusing on her. So that's the reason why we had it there. You got to think technical, like the German expressionism look, the noir look, where that came from was like, they didn't have the best film start, and they needed a lot of fucking light. They needed a lot of light for all their films back in the day. So that was the high contrast look. They had to bring loads of lights. In old Hollywood, you had all those huge lights. You know, and the more forward on we go, we can use less and less and less and less lights. We've now got cameras that you don't even need lights for. I think right now, everything that I do is kind of, it's not chasing a style, it's chasing that story, it's chasing that script. So we know in the Star Wars fan film, we know we had that green screen scene in the spaceship, we know we had to have it cold and blue and stuff, so we had fluorescent Kino lights that were strong enough, lit the green screen well, but didn't give off this warm glow on people's skin. It was kind of cold and serious. And then when we're outside, we're not having any lights, we're bouncing off the sunlight, using natural light, it's glowing, it's really nice on the skin. When I chatted to the director about the camera work and stuff of it, we were like, we want to make this a little bit different from a Star Wars film. Because there's hopefully with some darker themes in there. There was going to be a bit more, but we just didn't have the time to bring that in, essentially. People's faces burning off, things like that, you know. There's meant to be a few darker themes in that. So the cinematography was a lot based on the Old Republic game, because that's where the story's based. If you look at the cutscenes of that, they're quite similar with the colours and the feeling of the cinematography. So that was the main focus. Because we knew it wanted to be different from the Star Wars films, we didn't even look at like the main films. That wasn't a consideration at all. We were just like, okay, we want sci-fi, we'll look at the conventions of that, and we'll look at the conventions of where our source is, but let's not look at the conventions of Star Wars. If I'm directing something, whatever, my main goal is like, if someone can come out of watching that and just consider a different viewpoint or questions one of their beliefs, that's really cool. Because you can make someone laugh, you can make someone cry just by showing them a film that's like affecting their emotions. It's affecting the chemistry of their body with a film, and that's really weird. So yeah, I think if you can create a film that makes someone just think about something or question something, or just sow like one seed in there, that's really powerful, and that's magical.